So let me tell you about the time that I almost died because of a duck. I was getting ready to do a show at the University of Redlands, and the host of the show had arranged a dinner for all of the comedians before. So I'd arrived to dinner fashionably late because I had been circling the block several times because I was nervous about making a good impression in front of these comedians. This was a pretty big show. I was performing with my manager at the time. He was on the bill. A couple of comedians that I really respected and wanted to respect me as well. Kato Kalin was on the show, the Kato Kalin. I didn't know he was a comic. I just knew him from, that OJ thing. And so I get there and we're all sort of chopping it up, drinking beers. I'm trying to chime in and, jump in at all the right comedic moments in the conversation. The server brings out a platter of candied duck bacon. And when I tell you it was to die for, I almost mean that. So, so I just start snarfing this just nervous eating. I just put way too much in my mouth and I start choking. You can tell your salivary glands start going off and you're like, okay, well maybe I'll drink a little water, I'll try or whatever, but it was not working. And I have almost choked before. I threw up at Thanksgiving dinner. I think it was just the year before in front of my mother and all of my in-laws. So this was a familiar situation for me. And so I did not want to do this again in front of Kato Kalin, my manager, and all these other comedians. So I made a decision in that moment. Instead of asking for help, I would go to the bathroom and solve my problem on my own. So I very stealthily excuse myself from the table while I'm choking and slink to the stall, which thankfully was open because it was a one-person stall. And I locked the door behind me. Like I'm trying to throw up, I'm trying to do whatever I can, and nothing is working. And so by this time I'm sweating and I'm starting to panic because this is going on a bit longer than I'm comfortable. I was in the bathroom for so long that someone knocked on the door and I said, just a minute. Instead of help. That's what I said. And on top of all this, as it's happening, I have to pee. So I stopped doing the life-saving attempts long enough to pee in the urinal like a human being. My energy should have been on how are you not gonna die, but it was on how are you not gonna piss your pants in front of your friends. Like I didn't want to be found in the bathroom just turning blue, covered in my own urine. I was not trying to go out like that. Eventually, I gave myself the Heimlich maneuver on the bathroom urinal, which is completely sexy, and then threw up the duck and everything else that I ate all over the bathroom. And yeah, it was not it was not my finest moment. And I remember just calmly going back to the server who had given us the duck and telling her that she might want to arrange a cleanup in the bathroom. I walked back to the table and I didn't tell anyone what had happened. And no one asked me why I've been gone for so long. Like the conversation just went on. Nobody cared. They were doing their own thing. And we all went to the show and the show went great. And we all went our separate ways. It's funny now because obviously I survived, but I remember my mindset was less on the fact that I was choking and more on the fact that I didn't want any of the other comedians at the table to see me choke and make fun of me in their act, or think that I was somehow, I don't know, less cool of a comedian, if that's even a real thing. There were a lot of stories, honestly, that I thought about telling when I was approached to do this. And this was the one that kept coming back. For me, it really is a good metaphor for just life in general. It speaks so often to how we let pride get in the way of what's in our best interest. I think pride is shame in another form, because it creates an armor between you and the outside world. It creates a sense of invulnerability that's fake. So much of my thought process was occupied by what the people around me were going to think of me. I literally was willing to almost die, all because I was too proud to ask for help, because it was something that I felt like I had to solve myself. You want to be self-reliant, but you don't want to be self-reliant to the point where you don't realize that there are people who are willing to help you when you need it. We're entitled to ask for help. We're entitled to not be okay. We're entitled to need other people. It's okay to say, I'm struggling. It's okay to be seen in a moment where you are less than your best. That doesn't mean that you are anything less than because you're in this moment. There is going to be a time in your life where you need help, where it's going to be awkward to ask for help, where it's going to feel uncomfortable to ask for what it is that you need, whether it's from a partner, from a boss, from a friend, from yourself. It's not going to feel comfortable, and that's okay. Don't let that discomfort put you in a worse position. Moving through that discomfort, checking your pride, checking your sense of shame, and allowing yourself to receive the help that you need will put you in a better position, and it will make you a stronger person. I've been on the brink of bankruptcy. I've been on the brink of divorce. I've been sick. I've been depressed. I've been there. Pain is something that's actually common. Embarrassment is common. Feeling feeble is common. And that doesn't mean that our pain is any less special, but it means that we need to be willing and open to share it with other people and not carry unnecessary weight. That's not a sign of weakness. That's actually a sign of real strength. And so when I find myself in situations that I'm taking on too much, or I'm allowing myself to be a victim of my own self-reliance, I think about the duck bacon story. I think about how close I came to being a back page story in a college newspaper about dying in a sports bar on some candy duck in Reseda. I don't know whatever the proverbial sort of choking duck is in your life, whatever that thing is that's got you locked away from those people who are right around the corner to help you. But I hope that you'll hear this story. I hope that it will help you know that it's okay to reach out, that you don't have to suffer alone. There is an incredible release in asking for help. So share that burden. Being able to do that has made me a stronger performer. It's made me a better husband. It's made me a happier person. And that's what I wish, that's what I hope for all of you.